Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am demoing another project. This program is similar to the back end of an e-commerce platform that allows users to interact with the database using HTTP requests. This program has no front-end code. To use this program, users need to have Node.js installed, a copy of the GitHub repository, a server software of some kind, and a program that will allow us to make HTTP requests. I will be using Insomnia to interact with the database. When all these conditions are met, users can start to set up the program. Our first step is to make sure the server is on. On MacBook, open the Preference panel and click MySQL. I already turned on my server, but if yours is not on, click the Start Server button, which is the same as the Stop button. You will be prompted for your computer password when you turn your server on or off. Once started, we can move on to the next step. We can now make the database. In the repo folder, I will open up the DB folder. Inside the folder is the schemas.sql file. Right-click and open the file in MySQL Workbench. When the file is open, we can click the first lightning bolt icon. This will run the entire file. Then, in the Schemas section, on the left side of the screen, we can press the refresh button. We should see a new database appear called ecommerce.db. We can click into the database and see that we don't have any data yet. This is correct, and we will be adding starter data later. I will minimize MySQL Workbench, and our next step is to open the repo. I will open the repo in my VS Code. Since I was using it recently, it is in the Recent section, but you may need to navigate to the file on your own computer. With the repo open, we have a few things that we need to change before we can continue. Inside the repo, open the file called .env.user. Then right-click and scroll to the rename option. Remove the .user in the file and save the name. I already have an env file set up, so I won't be changing the file's name. On line 3 of your .env file, make sure to replace the text after the equal sign with the server password, then save the file. Next, open the program in the terminal. Right-click on the repo and open it in the integrated terminal. Before we can start the server, we need to call extra dependencies. Type npm install into the terminal and press enter. This will automatically add everything the program needs to work. It may take some time for the install to complete. I will clear my terminal when the install is done, and now we can add the data into our database. In the terminal, type seeds/index.js, then press enter. This command will populate the database with some data. If it works correctly, we should get a lot of text. We can now open MySQL again and refresh the schemas. When we open the database, we can see that we now have data. Back in our terminal, enter clear, then node server.js. This will start the server, and we can begin to interact with the database. In order to interact with this database, we will need to have a software that allows us to make HTTP calls without a browser. Minimizing VS Code, I will open Insomnia and create a new request using the New Request button. I won't make any changes and click Create. In the search bar, I will type in the link we need to use for all the requests. The link is as shown on the screen. This part of the link is used for everything. The only thing that changes will be the info after the final slash. There are 3 main routes that have a fair bit of functionality. The first route I will demo is the products route. Type in after the slash products and add another slash after that. I will make sure that get is selected and then press send. On the right side of the screen, we should see a list of all the products in our database. we can also select just one item based on an ID. In the search bar, I will add a number after the last slash, then click Send. We now only get one item in the response, but we can do more than just search for an item. Let's add a new item into the database. In the search bar, I will remove the ID from the root, then change the operation from get to post. Then down in the body, I will select JSON. This will open the area below the search bar so that we can put in some data. We can do anything as long as it is valid JSON. It would take a fair bit of time to write it out by hand, so I have copied an object that I will paste into the body. We need to make sure that the titles here match the column names in the database. I press Send, and in the response, we receive a JSON object, which means it should have worked. I will change the operation back to get and press Send. When we scroll down, we should see our new product has been added. Another thing we can do is edit products. In the search bar, I will add a number after the slash, then change the operation to put. In the body, I would change the name to something different and press Send. We receive a JSON object, which means it worked. When I change the operation back to get and press Send, we will see our item with the new name. The last operation we can do is delete an item. Change the mode to delete and then select an ID. I will keep the same ID and press Send. I will change the operation to get and remove the ID from the search bar, then Send. The item has now been removed from the database. There are two more routes that a user can use. Remove the part after the API and enter categories. Then press Send. This will show us all the categories that are in the database. Users can add, delete, and edit categories just like with the products. Users can also look at tags by changing the categories to tags. When we press Send, we can see all the tags in the database. Just like the other routes, users can add, delete, and edit the tags in the database. When the user is done with the database, they need to stop the server. Back at our terminal in VS Code, press the Control button +C. This will kill the program. If we try to make a request from here, it will fail. This concludes my video demo of the e-commerce backend project. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video.